Welcome to part 3 of my Obi-Wan Kenobi character analysis. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2 yet, then I highly encourage you to do so. I'll throw up a title card and place a link in the description to it. In today's video, I'll continue my case for Obi-Wan as the greatest Star Wars character, looking at his role in episode 3. So without further ado, let's get into it. And upon returning from his meeting, Anakin brings news of Palpatine's request.
Disturbing is this move by Chancellor Palpatine.
And just like Obi-Wan, Yoda and the Council share similar concerns about Palpatine's true intentions.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of Master.
How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be a master?
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
In this moment, Obi-Wan shows clear and visible disappointment in his pupil, as he failed what could be considered a test of humility and gratitude. While the Council in some ways have disrespected him, he doesn't appreciate the honor that's been bestowed upon him that very few have ever accomplished. So it's up to Obi-Wan as his mentor to help him reframe his mindset into something more positive.
It's never been done in the history of the Jedi. It's insulting.
Oh, calm down, Anakin. You have been given a great honor. To be on the council at your age, it's never happened before.
Where Anakin can be cynical and pessimistic at times, Obi-Wan encourages him to be optimistic and take things for what they are, as perception is everything. As his own master once stated to Anakin,
"Your focus determines your reality."
And it's because of his growing relationship with Palpatine that Anakin is due for a much-needed reality check of his own.
The fact of the matter is you are too close to the Chancellor. The Council doesn't like it when he interferes in Jedi affairs.
Where Anakin is still trusting of Palpatine due to the emotional attachment that he's formed for him, Obi-Wan and the Council are beginning to distance themselves from him, as their own trust in him has been shaken.
I swear to you, I didn't ask to be put on the council.
But it's what you wanted.
While Anakin's appointment may not have been his idea, Obi-Wan knows that his apprentice's pride and ego yearn to have the status of finally being a council member and a master, so he knows that what he's about to tell him will be rather difficult to hear.
Your friendship with Chancellor Palpatine seems to have paid off.
There's nothing to do with this.
The only reason the Council has approved your appointment is because the Chancellor trusts you.
Here we begin to see how the Council has left Obi-Wan in a particularly difficult situation, as he must be honest with his apprentice and tell him the honor bestowed upon him was not entirely because of his hard work, dedication, or merit, but because of who he knows, and how that would benefit the Council's agenda. And speaking of the Council's agenda, the tension and animosity that Anakin would have for the Council, and by direct association his master, would truly begin to form when he's given his secret assignment.
Anakin, I am on your side. I didn't want to put you in this situation.
What situation?
The Council wants you to report on all the Chancellor's dealings. They want to know what he's up to.
They want me to spy on the Chancellor?
Obi-Wan is very much uncomfortable telling this to Anakin, even trying to disassociate himself from the plan entirely and shift the blame on the Council. And unfortunately for Obi-Wan, the discomfort would only continue, as he must battle between being the Council's negotiator and Anakin's friend in this scenario. And even when Anakin directly questions the morality of the task, Obi-Wan must convince him that the ends justify the means.
That's treason.
We are at war, Anakin.
Their philosophies collide again, as Anakin blankets things as either inherently good or evil, or black and white, whereas Obi-Wan must live in the gray, understanding the importance of context, knowing sacrifices have to be made for the greater good, or as some might say, sometimes you have to crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
Why didn't the council give me this assignment when we were in session?
This assignment is not to be on record.
It doesn't help either that the Council is operating in a shady manner, which for Anakin only builds further doubt in the Council and Obi-Wan.
The Chancellor is not a bad man, Obi-Wan. He befriended me. He's watched out for me ever since I arrived here.
That is why you must help us.
While Anakin sees the good that Palpatine has done for him, he naively fails to see things from an outside perspective.
The Senate demanded that he stay longer.
So Obi-Wan implies that Palpatine must have a separate agenda, and that Anakin would be the first to find out what his plans are, and he could give the Council peace of mind.
Our allegiance is to the Senate, not to its leader, who has managed to stay in office long after his term has expired. Use your feelings, Anakin. Something is out of place.
It's here that Anakin and Obi-Wan's differing core principles shine, as at the end of the day, Anakin chooses to put his faith in Palpatine, and Obi-Wan in democracy. In other words, Anakin chooses to believe in people, and Obi-Wan chooses to believe in ideals. There's nothing innately wrong with putting your trust in others, but people can have agendas, and agendas can change. Whereas if you follow your own ideals, that can be unwavering because it's a belief that's independent of what others may do or think.
You're asking me to do something against the Jedi Code, against the Republic, against a mentor and a friend. That's what's out of place here.
Obi-Wan suffers the consequences of being the middleman. Where Anakin viewed him as a friend, he now begins to question it, as he feels Obi-Wan is asking the worst of him, which is why Obi-Wan must remind him that he's simply the messenger.
Why are you asking this of me?
The Council is asking you.
However, because it's Anakin, he can't help but feel hurt by his brother and friend. This conversation represents the start of the end of their friendship, as Anakin begins to see Obi-Wan as a puppet of the Council. But Obi-Wan sacrifices his own pride and image in Anakin's eyes to try to do what's right for the galaxy and establish balance in the Force.
Anakin did not take to his new assignment with much enthusiasm.
That's one way of putting it.
Is he not to destroy the Sith and bring balance to the Force?
So the prophecy says.
A prophecy that misread could have been.
Like anyone else, Obi-Wan has his moments of doubt, as things don't seem like they'll pan out quite as simply as Qui-Gon once presented it to him. So he turns to Yoda and Mace for reassurance. In Mace, we see a blind faith to follow the prophecy as written in the same manner that he follows the Jedi Code. In Yoda, we see a willingness to admit the error in their ways and potentially learn from their mistakes. So while things may look grim, Obi-Wan casts his fear aside and chooses to take a page out of his apprentice's book and places his faith in others. He chooses to believe in Anakin.
He will not let me down. He never has.
I hope right you are.
And on the other side, in the same way that most of the Council is losing faith in him, Anakin is losing faith in them, as they're not all that they're cracked up to be.
Sometimes I wonder what's happening to the Jedi Order. I think this war is destroying the principles of the Republic.
What's worse, when the Council is given an opportunity to show Anakin a semblance of trust, they instead place it in his master.
The Chancellor has requested that I lead the campaign.
The Council will make up its own mind who is to go, not the Chancellor.
The Council then placing Obi-Wan in a tough position again with his apprentice, as they deny Anakin not only the mission he desires, but the one he believes he deserves.
A master is needed.
Master Kenobi should go.
So by default, Obi-Wan is seen as a target of potential jealousy for Anakin, as he wishes to lead the campaign that would end the Clone Wars. Not only does Obi-Wan's mission to Utapau leave Anakin with a bit of a bitter taste in his mouth, but it also physically separates Obi-Wan from his apprentice during a complex time, as Anakin would be all the more alone, without a symbolic conscience at his side to make decisions during the events that would lead into Order 66.
You're gonna need me on this one, Master.
Oh, I agree. However, it may turn out just to be a wild panther chase.
Obi-Wan understands that Anakin is a great asset and is willing to give him his respect as a warrior. He also knows that this mission had significant meaning to Anakin, so he wisely downplays its importance to help ease his frustrations.
I've disappointed you. I haven't been very appreciative of your training. I've been arrogant, and I apologize. I've just been so frustrated with the Council.
Here, Obi-Wan sees that Anakin is willing to open up and show vulnerability, so Obi-Wan does the same and praises the growth that he's made as a Jedi and a person, emphasizing the idea that the man that he's become is more important than any rank the Jedi could ever give him.
You are strong and wise, Anakin, and I am very proud of you. And you have become a far greater Jedi than I could ever hope to be. But be patient, Anakin. It will not be long before the Council makes you a Jedi Master.
In hindsight, this goodbye is the final time that the two characters would ever truly speak to each other as brothers.
Obi-Wan, may the Force be with you.
Goodbye, old friend. May the Force be with you.
And the younger brother must take his master's teachings and use them to aid himself, as he will be given an important choice with destiny. This being one of the toughest parts about being a master, as you can train someone their whole life and guide them along the right path, but in the end they must make the decisions for themselves, as the student's training is only truly complete once they've learned to live beyond the master. And so, Obi-Wan then travels to Utapau, and upon his arrival, he displays why he got the nickname the Negotiator.
There's no war here unless you brought it with you.
With your kind permission, I should like some fuel, and to use your city as a base as I search nearby systems for General Grievous.
Here we see Obi-Wan's top-tier communication skills at work, as he can very easily talk to anyone and be immediately treated as an ally.
Is here. We are being held hostage. They are watching us.
I understand.
Obi-Wan shows the ability to keep a level head and come up with a plan of action without alerting the droids, giving him the element of surprise.
10th level, thousands of battle droids.
Tell your people to take shelter. If you have warriors, now is the time.
Although, there's definitely room for improvement, as he does fail to communicate all the details to his new friends.
Is he bringing additional warriors?
He didn't say.
Obi-Wan takes the information of Grievous's location and tracks him down, only to drop in on their fun, but never forgetting his manners.
Hello there.
General Kenobi, you are a bold one.
While this is a bold move by the Jedi Master, it pays off, but only because Obi-Wan understands his enemy. He knows that while Grievous is more than capable of executing him with an entire army at his disposal, Obi-Wan knows that Grievous would never pull the trigger on this, as he has too much pride to allow them to take away his satisfaction in defeating Obi-Wan himself. Grievous isn't really much of a team player, as he always prefers to be the reason for the team's success, whereas Obi-Wan has no desire for glory and is willing to cast aside his ego and do what is necessary for his team to succeed, which is why he's more than willing to create this distraction to buy the clones enough time to arrive. So instead of guaranteeing that Obi-Wan is eliminated, Grievous decides to play with his food and sends in a few Magna Guards. Obi-Wan's quick disposal of them reminds us that he's all about using minimum effort to get maximum results, as he uses the environment around him to his advantage to gain the upper hand when he's outnumbered.
I will deal with this Jedi slime myself.
Your move.
Obi-Wan is clearly not about showing off, but in comparison, Grievous relishes in the moment to show off in front of others and boasts about his legendary skills.
You fool! I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
As the two begin to duel, we see the great disparity between their fighting styles, as Grievous is flashy, constantly utilizing his speed and strength without changing his strategy or really thinking things through, where Obi-Wan always thinks defensively and tries to find holes in his opponent's game plan. In this case, he focuses on eliminating as many variables as possible and ridding Grievous of his unique strength as a fighter, that being his ability to wield twice the amount of weapons than the average humanoid could.
Army or not, you must realize you are doomed.
Oh, I don't think so.
Grievous of course tries to use intimidation tactics to scare his opponent, although Obi-Wan's not the type to be easily scared. Unlike Grievous, the Force is Obi-Wan's ally, as he uses it to his advantage, disarming Grievous and sending him on the run. Although this time, Obi-Wan doesn't let escape become an option, so he chases Grievous down, losing his lightsaber in the process. Towards the end of the fight, Obi-Wan showcases that he's willing to scrap with anyone to get the job done. Even when he's physically outmatched, he knows that Grievous, like anyone, has a weakness, so he targets his heart by opening up his chest plate. Similar to the battle of David versus Goliath, Obi-Wan finds his stone, or in this case, blaster, and uses it against him to get the win not by means of brawn, but brain.
So uncivilized.
While it may feel barbaric to use a blaster, as he would prefer,
The weapon of a Jedi Knight, not as clumsy or random as a blaster. An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
that won't stop Obi-Wan from doing what must be done. It's also fitting that Obi-Wan defeats Grievous to end the war, because Obi-Wan has always been the catalyst to look for a peaceful alternative. So his actions here should in theory bring peace to the galaxy, as Grievous represented the severe and serious savagery of war, and the Negotiator represented the idea of using communication to solve conflict rather than violence. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I had a ton of fun making this video, so if you enjoyed it too, then I highly suggest liking the video. And if you want to see more like it, then definitely hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified when part 4 comes out, then hit the bell for notifications. Or consider checking out my Patreon, where I'll be uploading videos there significantly sooner than on YouTube, so part 4 should be available there as I speak. And the same will apply to the next parts when they come out. And on that note, I want to give a shout out to my patrons. Your support means everything to me. And thank you to everyone who watches. I truly appreciate it. And finally, let me know in the comments which Star Wars character is the best communicator and why. And who knows, they might be in the next one. Until next time, remember to think positively, as we're still flying half a ship.